as you create the state of being you prefer to be in. One of self-empowerment, one of joy, one of passion, one of creativity, one of love. There is no room in that vibration for fear, self-doubt, paranoia. When you exist in that state, what you will do over whatever time frame is comfortable for you is you will shift yourself slowly or quickly from one parallel version of Earth to another, to another, to another, to another. And each of those will be more and more and more and more reflective and representative of the state of being you have created within yourself. The truth is, you never change the planet you're on. You change yourself and shift to a parallel reality version that's already more representative of the change you've made within yourself. And thus you see the people populating that version also being more reflective of people who have like-mindedness to the state of being you have created within yourself. So you don't have to worry about the idea of those that might have negative intentions on the planet you may be on at this moment, because if you shift your vibration sufficiently to what you prefer it to be, you won't be on the same planet anymore in the very next moment. If you understand that you're already shifting, literally, this is not a metaphor, literally billions of times per second through various parallel versions of Earth, so quickly, so smoothly, you don't even know you're doing it. You think that when you see a change of any kind, you think that change is happening in the same world. It's not. The change is indicative of the fact that you have shifted to another planet. Literally. This is one world. This is another. Literally. In the course of this conversation, we have all shifted simultaneously by agreement through billions of parallel versions of Earth in order to even create this conversation. So when you get a handle, as you say, on the fact that you're already shifting, then you don't have to learn to shift. You just need to direct the shift according to the vibrational state you prefer to be, and that will allow you to experience more and more in every way, every day, a reflection of the reality you prefer that you've created within your own being, within your own consciousness. And it doesn't matter what anyone else's intention is, because they're another reality entirely. I understand that you may still be able to observe them from a neutral position, because that's still the definition of your reality, is that you're going to be okay with allowing yourself to perceive people that are vibrationally incompatible with what you prefer. That's all right. But that's just a neutral observation. You don't have to assume that they have any ability to affect you in any way you don't agree to be affected. Now, here's the secret to a lot of the people that operate in those negative realms. They don't actually have as much power as they want you to think they have. But they are very good at disseminating information that gives people the impression they are more powerful than they are, so that when you believe they are more powerful than they are, then they are more powerful than they are, because you buy into it and you believe it. That's the secret. When you stop buying into that, you'll see them as people equal to you, who have no ability to affect physical reality as something to manipulate, which it's not from the outside. The idea is that as you change, physical reality on the outside has no choice, like the reflection in the mirror, but to change. However, here's where many of you get a little bit stuck. We recognize that what you have created as a physical reality, space-time experience, has a little bit of a time lag, has a little bit of an idea of volumetric space and time. Things take time. So, when you do create a change within your belief system within, the idea is that you will see a reflection from the outside world, but you may not see it right away. The idea is that what you may see first is what we call an echo of what you have already created. The idea being that the same situation may crop up as cropped up before. Now, we know that many of you, when you see the same situation crop up, when you see it appear before you, may sometimes, because of how you're taught to think of yourselves, go into self-recrimination and self-doubt and self-devaluation and say, I must be doing something wrong. Something is wrong with me. Why isn't the outside reality changing to reflect what I know has changed within me? But the idea is there's that echo. And sometimes physical reality will simply give you the same situation, the same set of circumstances that was there before, to give you an opportunity to see if you actually really have changed. Because change, and here's one of the primary tools in the kit, is this knowledge. Change is not about what happens on the outside. It's about how you respond to what happens. It's state of being, not circumstance. So the idea is that if you say you have changed, and a similar situation crops up, that cropped up before when you were in a negative state, and you react in the same negative way to that circumstance, you haven't changed.
On the subject of parallel realities that you were just talking about.
Yes, parallel reality.
Yes. And you were talking about the ripples, the effects of the other realities ripple into the other reality.
Because of the collective consciousness creating senses of continuity that connect those things together, yes.
So let's say, for example, this is where I need clarification.
Yes.
Let's say in this reality that I'm focused in, I'm afraid of swimming.
Yes.
Does that mean that there's a possibility that in a different reality I had an experience?
That version of you might have had an experience that you're connecting to play out and use that experience to explore whatever themes you're exploring here. Because somehow you believe that making that connection to that experience will serve you. Yes.
Okay. So then, how
Yes.
do I know that, how would I know that that specific thing is something that's serving me?
Well, again, it serves you because it puts you in touch with the idea that you have a belief that is generating the fear.
Oh, I see.
And you use the fear as a messenger to let you know you have a belief you're unaware of. So sometimes you will make these connections to generate fear that will then reveal to you certain beliefs you didn't know existed within the matrix of your consciousness. Therefore, it's doing you the service of pointing them out like a spotlight. And then you can ask the question, oh, what would I have to believe is true in order to experience this fear? And then you can let the fear go because it's done its job. But you will connect sometimes to other realities that might be exploring similar themes, but have had an experience that will induce fear in you to point out a similar belief system within yourself.
I see.
That's one way to use parallel reality connections to your advantage.
So the experience or the purpose of shape-shifting, does
Yes.
that also help us experience more different
Of course.
energies then?
Because
or?
once you learn the idea of shape-shifting, and you shift into a form that is different than what you think of your natural form, you're going to start to know what that form knows, think like that form thinks, behave like that form behaves, and you're going to learn a lot that way. You can even match a frequency. Now, we've talked about different ways of doing this because this is the basis of telepathy, that you don't read another person's mind, but you operate on a similar wavelength and have the same thoughts at the same time synchronistically. That's what telepathy actually is. So the idea of shape-shifting is a further demonstration of that by actually becoming, in a sense, a version of them that is almost identical physiologically by taking on a parallel reality reflection that makes you look like a twin of someone, and then you can understand them completely because you are being a version of them, and you know exactly what they're thinking, and you know exactly how they feel because you are a version of them. So it's a way to learn how to empathize, connect, have compassion, and learn many things from a different point of view. It's the ultimate way to walk in someone else's shoes by actually becoming them.
Do we actually do that unconsciously here and there, or we
Here
haven't?
and there, yes, you can, but you simply don't express it in the way that shapeshifters do, physiologically.
Oh, I see. So it's the consciousness that's basically experiencing that? It's the
Yes.
experience of the consciousness.
Yes. You're just
Physical.
adapting a reflection and imagining the reflection to actually be your reflection so that you see yourself as something else. And then you will think, feel, and do the things that something else does.
Okay, great.
It's a very, very strong way to learn about the world, about reality, about the universe, about the multiverse.
What you've explained about time travel, shifting between realities, is, and especially with regard to the future, that seems easily understandable, especially with a linear perspective.
Yes.
What is, I suppose, or could be chosen to be a more challenging understanding, is that of how the past is not set and equally malleable.
Yes, but that's only because that's what you've been taught to think about the past.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean that's the way it is. That's just the way you've been taught to look at it.
Right. And one of the most striking examples seems to be that of miracle healing.
Yes.
So someone has an irreversible ailment, and they come to a point where they experience that healing, and suddenly it vanishes, and they stand up out of the wheelchair or whatever, because they shifted to a reality where it did not exist.
Exactly, and that means they are not the same person that had it. They've never had it.
Mm-hmm.
It goes that far. Do you understand? Yes. It's not that they're the same person and they no longer have it. They are a person who never has had it. Right. Therefore, it doesn't even show up anywhere in the timeline. Yes? Now, you can create the continuity if you want as an experience. Oh, yes, I used to have it and now I no longer have it. But in a sense, that's just wordplay. Because you actually are a new person who never had it. But you're maintaining a sense of continuity that you're the same person who let it go. That's just the way you need to experience it for yourself so that you can gauge that you have changed, that you have grown, that you have made something else happen. That's your way of knowing you've become a new person. You're just using language that makes it seem as if you're the same person when you're not. That's all.
Okay.
So it's the difference, as we say, between describing an experience and actually describing the mechanism that causes the experience. Big difference. Big difference. That's why many of your definitions are outdated, old-fashioned. You still think that the description, the old-fashioned, outdated description, is actually a description of the mechanism. It's often not at all. It's just a description of how you choose to experience it. But it may have nothing to do with how the mechanism that caused it actually works at all. Do you understand?
Right.
The simple example we often give is the concept you call telepathy, which we term telepathy. Most people on your planet go, oh, well, you can read my mind. No, you can't. What you're doing is creating a vibrational frequency that is so similar to the vibrational frequency of someone else. You're mirroring them so closely, you're having the same thoughts at the same time. The effect, the experience seems to be, you're reading my mind. But the mechanism is no such thing. The mechanism is you're simply on such a similar wavelength that you're having the same thoughts because only those thoughts are germane to that wavelength. Therefore, you're in sync with one another, having the same thoughts simultaneously like two tuning forks vibrating in harmony. But the tuning forks aren't reading each other's minds. Do you understand?
Yes.
They are simply representing the vibration that represents that particular frequency. And that's it. So, description of the mechanism, very different than a description of the experience. Doesn't invalidate either, but it's important to tell the difference. Because when you just go with the idea of the description of the experience, you're reading my mind, it creates all sorts of misunderstandings and assumptions that don't work in your reality. The whole idea sometimes of your scientists attempting to test for psychic abilities like telepathy, they find many times that there's no evidence for it. Why? Because they're attempting to test the experience. It doesn't tell them what the actual mechanism is behind it. Therefore, they're doing the wrong test. And of course, they find no evidence for it because they don't understand what it is. They have proven that the experience is not the mechanism. That's what they've proven by saying there's no evidence for this. That's all they've proven. But they haven't yet realized that the mechanism itself is completely different from the experience that they've just disproven is not the mechanism. We have discussed with you from time to time the idea that every moment you are a new person, that you are shifting through billions of parallel reality versions of Earth every second. The idea sometimes, as we discuss this concept with some of you, may seem that while the person understands to a certain degree that they are shifting, they may not realize the idea that the Earth and the universe and the multiverse and all of creation is shifting as well. So in this transmission, we wish to expand and broaden your understanding that the shifts we are talking about that are automatic and ongoing, that you're becoming more and more aware of that you're doing, extend throughout existence. It's not just you as an individual shifting on the same planet, but the planet is shifting too, because it is one of the parallel versions you've shifted to. So it is shifting. Your universe is shifting. The multiverse is shifting. How can you take advantage of this knowledge in your daily lives? First and foremost, again, we remind you, you don't have to learn to shift. Shifting is automatic. That's how you create the side effect called time and space and change. If you were not shifting, you would not have those experiences. So it's not about learning to shift. It's about becoming more aware of the fact that you're always shifting and starting to match the frequency a little more closely of the shift. The paradox to that is that as you start raising your frequency and becoming more aware of how fast you're already shifting, reality may seem, in a sense, to start slowing down and at the same time accelerate. The idea of the slowing down is that by matching the frequency, you get to see the frames more clearly. They don't just whiz by. They become more apparent to you consciously. And yet, as they become more apparent to you, they're becoming more apparent in the present. So the idea of seeing more of the frames more consciously that you're shifting through actually allows you to live more in the moment, and living more in the moment while seeming to slow things down actually speeds things up, because everything happens in the now and everything is already existing in the now. So the paradox of your senses will be that things will sort of seem to freeze now and then. Space and time will become more malleable, more flexible. At the same time, you will experience what feels like an acceleration, because you're becoming more aware of more of what is in the present, more of what is in each of those frames that you are now more conscious of. So you have this double effect. As you become more conscious of these frames, by raising your frequency, by following your passion, of course, following that formula, you can utilize this understanding of going to zero, going to zero, going to zero with each shift in a much more constructive, powerful, conscious way. Because that is exactly what you are doing. That is exactly what the entire planet, in a sense, is doing as it manifests with you in the new reality, billions of times per second, as the new reality, billions of times per second, since they all already exist. So the idea of Earth Zero is to become more aware of that zero space. The idea that it is truly blank in the shift, and that you get to define in that moment more clearly who it is you prefer to be, what kind of version of Earth is more reflective of that, and of course the universe as well. But let's keep it focused on your planet for the moment so it doesn't get a little bit too heady. So the idea, again, is now that you know more and more that you are shifting billions of times a second, broaden your perspective that when you do, start seeing in your imagination, start seeing more consciously that the earth is shifting too. So that in that sense, not that it comes with you, but that it goes back to zero and is defined, is invented with you. Not just you reinvented, but the earth you are on reinvented. That you are connected to it, you're an extension of it, because you are nature. You are of the earth. It is of you. You are creating your version of it. And so if you start to see that the entire globe is new, zeroing out with every shift, billions of times per second, you will actually start to accelerate the effects you see of things appearing to change in the world, because you are more rapidly and more consciously taking the earth with you, so to speak, as you know you are shifting. And you are seeing the new shifted earth more clearly because you are allowing yourself to include the idea that the earth is shifting and going to zero as well as you. And this can accelerate your experience of actually more consciously seeing those reflections, what you call changes in your reality. Now, this is a version of accessing parallel realities. Again, since everything exists at once, they're all parallel realities. What you call the past is a parallel reality. What you call the future is a parallel reality. Again, it all exists now. But you have these convenient labels for them, these convenient perspectives of them, because you're coming from a space-time framework. However, as you understand this zeroing out principle more consciously, you're going to start experiencing with your senses more of the overlap. More of the idea of a kind of double and triple exposure of the different earths you're shifting through. So the idea is that you may start seeing kind of a residual echo of the one you were at, a residual echo of the one you're going to. You will broaden the idea of the window of the shifting so that you can actually start to really feel stepping across a bridge, including where you were, where you are, where you're going. It will broaden your understanding and your ability to perceive multiple parallel versions of Earth at once so that you can more consciously navigate, because if you can see what's coming up and you understand where you've been, it charts a clearer course in your consciousness. You can actually start to see the course you're taking. You can see more of the map that you are using to guide yourself, to navigate yourself through these billions of parallel realities. And you can broaden it even more and more and more and more until you will allow yourself to be able to conceive of and perceive multiple versions of all of the Earths, and it starts becoming kind of like seeing more of the frames all at once, and you have a bigger understanding, a bigger chunk of understanding of the path that you are, the path that you're manifesting. Now, in a sense, this means that when you start doing this, it's a new way of understanding and experiencing more consistently the concept and the experience that you call déjà vu. Because the idea in what you call déjà vu is that you have a sense of knowing what's coming up because you feel you've been there before. So in a sense, you're using the forward and reverse arrows of time simultaneously as they exist in the present together. So this concept of Earth Zero is a way of expanding the idea of déjà vu into something that is actually a practical device, a practical tool to broaden your understanding of seeing more of the path that you are and navigating it more consciously by being able to see ahead, in a sense, where you are going because you've already been there. Because you are already connected. There are already versions of you on all of the different parallel versions that are relevant for you. So it's like tapping into a future self that already has a past memory of already having been where it is you're still going. You understand? This is a shift, a big shift, because in the past, so to speak, most of you will rely on learning what you need to move forward from what you've already experienced. You will look back to the past, and I'm not saying you should stop that, but the idea is you're starting to shift anchoring to past events over to the idea of anchoring to future events. Since they all exist at the same time, why not pull yourself forward, in a sense, instead of going back and looking and using that to maintain the idea of knowing that a future self is already on a version of Earth that already exists, and to that future self, where you're going is already the past, can really accelerate and propel you into that future self, into becoming that future self on that version of Earth in what you call the future. And since everything exists all at once, you can use them in any way you wish. You can use them this way. You just have to start thinking multidimensionally and knowing that other versions of you already exist and that they have their own experiences that you can tap into and use to your benefit in this way. So let the future self pull you forward. This is similar to what's happening in the channeling, where I am, again, according to your euphemisms, the channel's future self, pulling him forward, allowing him to become his version of what he believes us to be, so that he can rely on my past experiences to become his future ones. This is how Earth Zero works. Allow yourself to begin to relate to communicate with, to open up to the idea of being in a zero place that can have any definition. The entire planet, the entire world, your entire cosmos, all of your experience, zero. And then from that zero, clean slate place, start connecting more to the idea of what the future self would consider to be its best past path. And allow that to become your future path, instead of constantly remembering backwards to propel yourself forwards. Let the future pull you towards it. Let your future self engage you and urge you and encourage you forward by walking in its footsteps, steps that already exist from its point of view, but you will have your own experience of that. That's the beauty of it. You're not actually repeating exactly the path the future self took, but it is giving you guideposts. It is giving you footprints that you will step into and experience in your own way that you believe is relevant for you. But the footsteps are there to follow already. So, allow yourself, in understanding more and more the idea that you zero out at every moment and you can redefine yourself in the next moment, allow more of that redefinition to include the experiences the future self has already had, but in a broad enough way that you can also determine what those experiences shall be for you. Then you will accelerate greatly because you'll be able to see that path more clearly. And you know that the future self is shining a light on that path and on those footsteps for you. Does that make sense? Does that sound like fun? All right. So, let that sink in. There are many other ways that your imagination can aid and assist you in developing this relationship to the future self and allowing yourself to be more conscious of zeroing out. You can use Earth Zero in a number of ways. Let your imagination be your guide, aside from what we have just suggested as a permission slip.
I want to say good day to you this day of your time. How are you all? We would like to begin this interaction this day of your time by pointing out very strongly to you, once again, from a slightly different direction, the idea now of what you call the acceleration going on all around you, which is really the acceleration going on within you. And that now you will see more and more and more of the symptoms, shall we say, of this acceleration of your energy, this evolution of your energy, this evolution of your consciousness upon your planet through the kinds of symptomologies in your physical reality, such as what you call synchronicity, which is another term for what you call coincidence. But by removing the concept of it being accidental, you understand that everything in life is an orchestration. Everything is the result of a choice that your consciousness makes. And every choice your consciousness makes has an impact, a profound impact upon everything that occurs in your physiological reality. Synchronicity, being in the right place at the right time, seeing exactly, hearing exactly, meeting exactly the right people when you need to, the right thing when you need to, the right phrase at the right time, exactly when you need it to, knowing that something is going to happen and then seeing it manifest. All those ideas of the increase of sensitivity of your senses to other energies, to the timing of things, to the orchestration of life. These are the things that you now will find happening more and more and more on a daily basis in your reality as you become more accelerated, as your energy becomes more heightened and more in alignment, more synchronized with the higher energies of the dimensions toward which you are evolving. You are now being able to draw consciously, no longer so much subconsciously or unconsciously, but more and more consciously upon these energies, upon these knowingnesses, so that rather than just ascribing these ideas of knowingness to your dream life, to your imagination, now they are beginning to leak, shall we say, into your day-to-day physical experience, so that you are becoming more psychic, more prescient, more telepathic, and being able now to see all around you more examples of the appropriate and perfect timing of just being in the right place, as we said, just meeting exactly who you need to meet, when you need to meet them, so on and so forth. And your life begins to become an ecstatic explosion of synchronicity, one moment after the next, unfolding magically, miraculously, as you may use those terms. But you must understand something very important. What you have for thousands of years in your language called miracles and magic is really the way life naturally works when you allow it to. When you get out of your own way, so to speak, when you stop attempting to impose the idea of control over how life unfolds, then you will see that miracles are the natural order of the day, that life can come together in spontaneous creation, providing exactly what you need, exactly when you need it, and not a moment before, but not a moment later either. Let your life work that way by starting to get more practice of getting into the flow of the idea that your life already works. You don't have to make it work, it already works flawlessly, because each and every one of you were created in the image, as you say, of the infinite creator. You are a co-creator, and everything you think, every choice you make, every idea you have spontaneously generates a result in your physiological reality. Because physical reality is not something you dwell within. Physical reality is an extension of your consciousness, a projection of your consciousness, a mirror that reflects the strongest definitions, the strongest beliefs that you have been taught to think are true, that you have been taught to think are the most likely things that are possible to be experienced in your reality. So when you change your thoughts, you change your definitions, and you allow yourself, you grant yourself the permission to know that life can be miraculous as the natural order of things, then bit by bit you will see your life become so. It will unfold more effortlessly, more magically, more creatively, and you will know that you are at the core, at the center, at the seed of all those things, that life doesn't happen to you, it happens through you. And bit by bit you will get a better sense of that, and you will know that control is really letting go, because if life already works, you have but to simply see a vision and act according to that vision, and with absolute conviction and certainty know that if you are at one with that vibrational vision, then life will just unfold naturally in that way. You don't have to wrestle your life into position. You have for thousands of years been taught that this must be so, and look where it has gotten you. You have lives of struggle and pain and suffering and dis-ease, and you are very, 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 very tired. And so it is time to let go and allow yourselves to know you're already in control, just because you are made as an aspect of creation, and everything you do is natural to you. It is second nature for you to create. It's just that you have been out of touch with the fact that you are doing the creating of the things you experience in your life. Once you get back in touch with the knowledge that all the things that happen in your physiological reality are because of the definitional beliefs you have within you about what you think is possible, you can change those definitions and see your reality change in accordance to that shift within your concept. It really is fundamentally that simple. Now, we understand that because of many of the belief systems you've already had ingrained within you for countless generations, it may not at first seem that simple to change your reality immediately as you would desire to. But really it is that fundamental, and once you get a handle on it, especially now in this day and age on your planet, this transformational age where you're exploring expansions of consciousness, you will see in short order, I guarantee you, that by applying these new recognitions, these new definitions, this new awareness of yourself as being the creator of your reality, if you apply that in every thought, word, and deed, I guarantee you will see the result in short order, very strongly and undeniably. Many of you have already begun to see this happening, manifesting on a day-to-day basis, and each manifestation strengthens you, gives you the confidence to know that that's the way life can be. We understand, believe me, we understand that this will seem shocking to many of you, that the idea that you have been taught of what you have called for thousands of years a fairy tale imagination is actually the way life really works when you allow it to. That life is magical. That's all it is. It's the magic of the transformation of the idea of yourself into some tangible reflection of experiencing that idea of yourself. That's all it is. Physical reality is made of you, made of your consciousness. You do not live in physical reality. Physical reality lives in you. You just project it outside yourself, apparently, in a type of an illusion that gives you the ability to play with the idea of creation in a way that allows you to appreciate the mechanism itself, that has time delays within it, so that you can actually see that there is a mechanism involved between the thought and the thing. In higher spiritual levels, where there isn't the idea of time and space, the instant you think of something, it manifests instantly. Physical reality is for the purpose of slowing that process down so that you can learn to appreciate the idea of what it is you are creating, so that you can take your time and change your mind and say, well, no, I don't choose this, I prefer that. It gives you the ability to savor the creation, to take your time, to enjoy it, to roll it around in your consciousness before you manifest it. That's one of the benefits of the limitation of physical reality. But of course, what you also perhaps didn't count on is that limitation also can allow you to forget that you yourself decided to create physical reality that way. Now, however, at the end of the cycle of forgetfulness, now that you've played out just about every limiting game you can in your physical reality, you are once again going into the cycle of remembering, oh yes, we created this game to savor creation. And now we know that it has taken us far enough so that we can actually forget that we are the ones creating it. But that was the name of the game. Because in that sense, only by forgetting can the creator really experience this idea. Each and every one of you experience the idea of physical reality as if it really were totally new. For the first time. Pristine. For that is what forgetting is for. So that you have an absolute experience without the idea of remembering that you created it, which in some senses would knock the experience down, would lessen it to some degree, would not make it quite as potent. But now you are going into a new cycle where it is not necessary to forget. You now have mastered the idea of creating your reality in a variety of ways so that now you can create it in a different way. You will not completely necessarily as a civilization transcend to non-physical reality yet, but you will now allow your physical reality to become more plastic, more malleable, more flexible, so that you can really see the connection between the creation and yourself, between consciousness and physical reality, so that now you get to see the process going backwards, back toward the idea of your initial creatorhood. This is what is going on your planet now, is the recombining, the integration, the reintegration of all the segregation and separation you have created for thousands of years, so that you once again will remember that you yourself are, each and every one of you, a unique and total aspect of all that is, of creation itself. Does this make sense to you? Does this translate into your language adequately? With this in mind, and in applying this in specific or general ways now, in these upcoming dialogues, we will attempt to explore together a little bit further how this concept can be applied to your daily lives so that you can see the changes that you do prefer. In return now at this time for the gift that you have given to us, our civilization, in experiencing you, I am allowed to ask you now.
Hello, Bashar, and thank you for everything you have offered us. I so appreciate you. I would like some clarification on balancing points 3 and 4 of the formula. Point 3, acting on my excitement without any insistence, assumption, or expectation of what the outcome should be, and staying in a positive state of mind. So my clarification is, I get how I should let go and allow things to unfold and trust that the abundance that I'm seeking in this specific example can come from many different ways. But I'm not sure how I can stay in a positive state of mind without some belief that it is going to work, that I am going to have my needs met. So how can I both have no insistence that it's going to work and yet stay in a positive state of mind? Can you expand on that for me?
Yes. First of all, understand that by letting go of insistence, that is a way for opening up to receive what you truly need. Because insisting on things may actually close the door to receiving what you truly need. Because your insistence may be saying, I know what is best, I know what I need, and maybe you don't. So the idea is to drop the insistence, because insistence limits your ability to actually receive what you need. I will remind you of the 7 basic needs of life. You need air, you need water, you need sleep, you need food, you need some form of shelter or positive constructive environment that allows you to thrive. You need the idea of connection or relationship with something, whether it's a person or not. And you need the idea of self-creative expression, the idea of acting on your passion. If you say you have needs that go beyond those, then they are not needs, they are insistences on something that may not be what you need, but may only be representative of what your ego system wants. And it may not be aligned with what you truly need. If you receive the 7 things we just outlined that are the true needs in life, your life will be fulfilled. So you have to pay attention to whether the idea of what you say are your needs are actually really wants, or are they truly aligned with the 7 needs we just outlined. The idea of staying in a positive state is, again, your ability to experience whatever happens in a more constructive, beneficial way. Why would you want to stay in a negative state and experience things in a negative way, in a destructive way, in a way that doesn't serve you positively? Staying in a positive state is allowing you to interpret any experience and glean from that experience and extract from that experience something that will move you forward in a positive direction, that will allow you to feel more connected, more self-empowered. So the question is, why wouldn't you choose to stay in a positive state no matter what happens, knowing that if you do stay in that positive state, you'll be able to get a benefit out of whatever's going on? Even if you recognize that what manifested is something you don't prefer, that's just an objective observation. Staying in a positive state will allow you to understand how that manifestation can still serve you in a positive way by being there. Instead of succumbing to the negative state, that will only make it impossible for you to realize how that manifestation could serve you in a positive way. So it's up to you to decide what you actually prefer to experience, and know that you're making a choice to be in a state of being that will allow you to experience them in the way that you prefer, as opposed to experiencing things in the way that you don't prefer. So it's just simply a choice you make based on how you would like to experience things, and by understanding what your true basic needs are, and not calling things that are egotistical wants things that you actually think you need, when in fact you may not.
Hey, Bashar.
Good day.
Hi. I am so excited by this. I really thank you for this.
It is our passion and our pleasure. What would you like to discuss?
Well, my personal growth is really important to me. I've known that since I was a little kid. And it led me to you and excuse me, I'm senior moment.
The formula?
The formula, thank you. Yes, and I've taken to the formula, and I have a really good understanding of it. And it's also, I have the law of attraction information as well.
Yes, well, the law of attraction, in a sense, is built into the formula as well. Because, again, what you put out is what you get back.
Yes, I have discovered that. My life has taken a terrific change. I'm basically happy all the time, thanks to this.
Yes. We are basically happy all the time as well.
I like to hear that. Yes. I guess my question I have, is there anything there that I may not be aware of that maybe I don't know. I don't actually know, but I'm just wondering.
If you say that you are happy all the time, why would you assume that there is something else you need to know? And why wouldn't you understand the formula enough to know that if there is something there, the reflective mirror component of it will bring it to your attention in the appropriate time?
You know, I actually agree with you on that. I guess sometimes I get so excited that I forget where my passion takes me. But I do follow my passion. Like you, I'm an artist, so I do know what it's like to allow my creativity and my imagination sometimes get the better of me. But yes.
All right. Well, as long as you always course correct, as long as you're always aware to check yourself, you'll be fine.
Thank you. Thank you. The only other question I have at this time, it just dawned on me that like the work you're doing with First Contact, I was really happy to hear what the announcement you made about the next coming year. My question is like, what do we on this planet at this time, what do we offer in this exchange?
Many different things, many different perspectives, ways of experiencing life, ways of expressing your creativity that are different from ours. It enhances and builds and adds to our understanding of all the different ways that all that is has of expressing itself. Plus, again, the idea is that in the suggestions that we will deliver in the upcoming transmissions, we will see how you use your creativity to perform these acts for all those who are willing to follow these suggestions, take the actions, and increase their vibrational frequency to be that more aligned with the interstellar alliance. You will come at it from a unique point of view.
I like that. I listen to a lot of information, like near-death experiences. I like to give an understanding of what's waiting for us on the other side when we go back to where we came from.
Yes, but remember that you are already there.
Yes, I am quite aware of that.
All right.
I'm working on my relationship with my inner being and source, building on that relationship. But I do understand that I come from the perspective of an illusion, yes, and going back to something real. And I actually do enjoy that fact. I'm looking forward to that.
Yes, it doesn't diminish the effect of the illusion because the illusion has its purpose, allowing you experiences that cannot be had purely in spirit. And thus it expands you and allows you to grow. So just by understanding it as an illusion does not in any way, shape, or form discount the experience as important.
I've discovered how important our experience here is to where source is.
Yes.
Yes. I also came to the conclusion that we are basically energy that has consciousness.
Well, yes. Consciousness is energy. Energy is consciousness. Existence is conscious.
Well, I got to say, Bashar, I really do appreciate this. I don't actually have any other questions, but I'm grateful to having this time with you.
As are we. We thank you for the co-creation of the interaction, and again, bid you an exciting path and journey. Aveo.
Aveo.
Yes.
Okay. So, let's say you regret an experience out of your past. Oh, not regret.
Say that again.
You had a sexual experience when you were a kid.
Yes.
That you regret.
All right.
And because of that,
yes.
I feel not all the way pure.
All right. So let me ask you this question. Are you that kid now?
No.
So why are you continuing to recreate that experience in your present?
I think it's society.
Why are you choosing to continue to recreate that experience in your present if you're not that person anymore? Did you learn from it? Did you learn from that experience that you preferred something different?
I'm not sure that I all the way believe that I'm not that kid, because society tells us.
We'll get to that in a moment.
Yes.
We'll get to that in a moment. Answer this question first. Did you learn something from that experience that allowed you to realize that you prefer something different? Yes or no?
Yeah.
All right. So are you applying that new knowledge in your life now? What you learned, are you behaving in a different way?
Am I behaving in a different way? Yes.
All right. So doesn't the new behavior supersede what happened in the past?
What does supersede mean?
Take the place of. Doesn't it replace what happened in the past because you have learned from it and are now applying a new behavior? Doesn't that make you a different person?
I want to say yes.
Why do you want to say yes?
Because
it feels better, doesn't it?
It does feel better.
Then why not believe it, regardless of what society says? Why not believe you are a different person now?
Because society makes me feel wrong.
Because society says what?
They make me feel wrong, or they make me feel...
They don't make you feel anything. They may suggest how you could make yourself feel, but if you don't prefer to feel that way, why are you agreeing with them? Because you're the one making yourself feel what you're feeling. No one else can make you feel anything.
That's right. So
I know.
I just practice. So is there a way to get there? Is it probably by follow my highest excitement that eventually...
The formula will help.
Okay.
But you also have to really understand how things work, what the structure of existence is like. Everything exists here and now.
Mm-hmm.
You understand that time is an illusion?
Yes.
Even your scientists understand this now. Yes? It's not real. It's a side effect. Time is a side effect of your consciousness shifting through billions of parallel reality moments every second. So if everything exists here and now, the only way you can experience what appears to be different moments is by actually shifting your focus within the now to a different now, which means you're a different person. Because everything that changes in the now changes everything in the now. It's not the same reality from one moment to the next. Literally. Otherwise, you wouldn't have the experience of time. So the idea is that you literally are a different person when you change anything about yourself, and you're becoming a different person billions of times a second. So it's not about the idea of learning how to change. It's about the idea of realizing that you're constantly changing and constantly a different person in a different reality, in a different version of Earth, moment to moment to moment to moment to moment to moment to moment. And you get to say what you are, what person you are, how you define yourself every single moment. So you get to choose. As I just said, your greatest power is the freedom to choose who you prefer to be. And it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks you should be. They're not living your life. They're not your reality. You are your own universe. So be who you prefer to be. Define yourself as you prefer to. Behave as you prefer to, knowing that it's just as real as anything else you've ever done, because that wasn't actually you. You have to understand that everything exists at the same time, which means every single moment is actually about a different person. So even though you might have this illusion of continuity, that younger person was you, it isn't you. It's a different person. You're a different person than that you. It's not the same you. It may look like you may be creating a continuity that makes it seem like there's a continuous stream between that younger you and this particular you, but there isn't. That's an illusion. That's a different person. It's not you. You've changed, and therefore you're a different person, literally. Yes?
Yes.
That's how it works. So be the person you know you are now, instead of recreating the idea that you are still a person you've never been. You've never been that person. Now that you are defining yourself in this way, that definition literally makes you a completely different person who has never been that other person. This is what we call the 13th step. This is the idea of the true understanding that every change is total change and that things are changing, as I said, billions of times per second. I'll use the analogy that people on your planet often use of what you call addiction. When you see people suddenly stop doing addicting behavior, some kind of miraculous shift where one day they are having that behavior and the next day they are not, it's not because they actually stopped doing it. It's because the person they've become never did it. They have no history of doing it, and that's why it's so easy for them to not have any urges about the idea that they used to do it. Is because they never did. They're not the same person, literally, anymore, and never have been that person. The illusion of continuity is broken. That's how you allow yourself to know you're changing, truly changing, into different people every moment. Let go of the illusion of continuity that anchors you to a past you never had, because everything is created from the present, including the past.
So my past is even different now.
Yes.
Okay.
That's the idea. Now, it's going to seem to be. Whatever you create yourself to be is going to come with whatever past you still believe is relevant to you. But as you change the relevant definition, you're going to create a past that makes sense for the person you are now, because that's how it works in space-time. If you change yourself differently enough, you have to create a past that makes it make sense in space-time as to how you became the person you are now, which means you had to have had a different past than you had before in order to be the person you are now. Because everything is created from the present. There's no such thing as the past. It's an illusion. It's just another parallel present reality that you can decide to experience or not. So break the continuity and realize that every single moment that you become a different person, you have a different past. It may seem like it's always been the past, but that's just what has to come with it in order for you to have a sense of continuity in space-time reality.
Okay.
Many of you don't even know how many pasts you've experienced. Even collectively, as we have often given examples, what you consider to be your history as a collective right now may not necessarily have been your history 5 minutes ago. But it will seem to have always been your history. Oh yes, everyone knows that in XBC this... You don't know that that's the way it was 5 minutes ago. It might have been completely different 5 minutes ago, but it's going to seem like it's always been that way when you create a new past.
Okay.
Is this helping?
Yeah, this is helping.
All right.
I just want to share my experience of the weekend, because I think it's helpful, and there comes a question with it.
Yeah.
The last days, just being in the room.
Yes.
I asked the question the first day, but just being in the room, I felt like my vibration was shifting on a level.
Yes, because you are picking up on the frequency that we give off through the channel's body, and you're willing to match the frequency that's a higher frequency representation of yourself.
And I also think because I allowed it this time,
yes,
too, because you taught us to see everything as a positive in the formula. Yeah.
And also remember what we have called the AAA formula. On your culture, you have the synchronous convenience of having something called AAA, which you often use to rescue you when your vehicle breaks down. So the idea is we're suggesting a different AAA formula when you feel that your vehicle, yourself, has broken down and you feel the need to be rescued. Allow yourself to remember this AAA formula. A, acknowledge what you have, not what you don't have. B, appreciate what you have. And number 3, allow what needs to happen next to happen. Acknowledge, appreciate, allow. That's all you need to bring yourself back to center. Acknowledge what you have, not what you don't have. Appreciate what you have, and allow what needs to happen next to happen.
Is this part of the excitement formula too, or?
It is a subset of it. It's a permission slip designed based on it.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, in the excitement formula, what really helped me to like increase my vibration is the. I feel like I always followed my excitement.
Well, not always.
Not always, but like recently, I've been really going for it and
not
doing the not having the insistence.
Yes.
But I feel like where I always when something happened that I didn't like so much, preferred. Is
it truly a recognition of neutral non-preference, or is it a fear reaction? You have to have the ability to discern that honestly within yourself too.
It might have been a fear reaction, but I cleared that out by giving it the possibility that it's like giving it a positive meaning.
It doesn't mean that you say that what is negative is positive. It means you stay in a positive state so that you can recognize how to use what is negative in a positive way.
How do you stay in a positive state if you see something?
Did we not explain that before? What other choice are you giving yourself? Why would you leave the positive state? What reasons are you creating to leave it?
It's just a natural reaction of
it is not a natural reaction. It is a learned reaction.
So how do I relearn?
By following the formula and keep practicing it until it becomes not second nature, first nature.
So by following the formula, it will automatically...
Keep doing it, just like anything. If you want to learn to play an instrument, what do? You keep practicing. So just keep doing it. Every chance you get, remind yourself to go back into that state.
Okay.
That's it. All you have to do.
I have a question about the formula.
Yes.
And I'll make it as an example because I think it's easier. This morning, so my highest excitement today clearly was coming here.
Otherwise, you wouldn't be here.
Exactly. But I realized there's a difference in excitements. So let's say my highest excitement is here, but there's a time span from me waking up to me getting here.
So why can't that be exciting too?
That can. I'm just asking because when I wake up, in between those little moments, should I still ask?
Every moment can be as exciting as the next. It doesn't matter what it is you're doing. Do it in the way that's most exciting for you. Even the simple things. Getting out of bed, getting dressed. Do it in the way that's most exciting for you so that you are allowing those moments to be what they can be. Don't diminish them. Don't devalue them.
No, of course, yeah. So on the way to my highest...
No. It's not on the way. Every moment is part of your excitement if you allow it to be and act as if it is and do it in the way that is most exciting. You're making a difference between those moments and other moments by saying, I'm on the way to my excitement. No, every moment.
Because on some points, it doesn't feel like I know what my next highest excitement is.
You don't have to know. It's very simple, very simple. You don't have to know the ultimate. Just take it a step at a time. If you want to, again, practice this, do it in exactly the way I just suggested. When you wake up in the most exciting way you can. What do you want around you when you wake up? Do you want flowers in your bedroom? Do you want a certain scent in your bedroom? Do you want a certain chime on your alarm if you use that? Do you want to wake up to music? Wake up in the most exciting way you can. If you want to stay in bed for a few minutes and recount your dreams, and that's more exciting, do it. When you finally decide that you wish to be excited about rising from your bed, do it in the most exciting way you can. Whether it's a soft, calm swinging of your legs over the side, planting your feet in those wonderful, cozy slippers, or jumping and leaping out of bed, fully naked, into the bedroom. Do it in the way that's most exciting for you. And then every moment will feel fulfilling, and it's not that you will be ignoring them and invalidating them by saying that they're nothing more than a way on the way to your excitement. This is what we're talking about. Every moment.
So make every moment a way.
Use your imagination.
Is it good to ask the question every moment, or does it make you just confused?
If that excites you, but once you practice it and get used to doing your life that way, you won't have to keep asking the question. You will know what to do because you'll know yourself. Remember, it comes down to that ancient phrase, know thyself. So when you know who you are, you will start doing the things in the way that you would do them. That will always be the most exciting way you can do it, because why would you do those things any other way? If you are living your excitement, then do everything in your life in the most exciting way you can. Everything. Don't leave anything out. Why miss a moment? Why miss that precious, beautiful, exciting moment, as I described, of slipping your toes into those cozy slippers? Oh, that's ecstasy in that moment. Why miss out on that? Because you're in such a hurry to get somewhere more exciting. Don't rush ahead. What's your hurry? You are an infinite, eternal being. What's your hurry? Enjoy every moment.
Okay.
All right, does that help?
That helps.
All right.